Welcome back to the deep dive. Usually we are sifting through white papers on AI or dissecting macroeconomic trends.
Or maybe figuring out if we should be terrified of some new biotech breakthrough.
Exactly. But today, we're doing something completely different. We're zooming in, way, way in. We're looking at a single week of human existence. It's January 2026 in Langlade County, Wisconsin.
And, it's a fascinating exercise in what I call microsociology. We have the official media reports from the Antigo Police Department and the Langlade Sheriff's Office.
Right, for the week of January 7th through the 12th.
And on the surface, this looks like a standard police blotter, traffic stops, noise complaints, the usual stuff.
But when you actually read between the lines, when you look at the texture of these calls, it's something else.
It's really a study of human nature under pressure.
Specifically barometric pressure. January in Wisconsin does some strange things to people.
It really does.
So before we jump into the snowbanks, we should probably set some ground rules here.
Good idea.
These reports are public record. Anyone can go read them. But our mission isn't to expose anyone. We are not naming names.
Nope. And we're not giving out specific house numbers. We're here for the stories. We're interested in the situations.
The patterns and the chaos.
Exactly. And for anyone listening who isn't from the Northwoods, we're going to respect the local dialect. It is Antigo.
And Elko.
Yeah, if you say Elko, you've immediately outed yourself as a tourist.
And the locals will probably send you down a snowmobile trail in your sedan just for fun.
They just might.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It's early January. It's dark. It's bitterly cold. And the first thing that just leaps out from this data is the absolute battle for the pavement.
Or, what's left of it.
Segment 1. The roads. I want to start with what I'm calling Main Street chaos. This was Friday morning, January 9th, the intersection of Fifth Ave and Superior.
Which is, that's basically the aorta of the town's traffic flow. If you choke that off, the whole organism starts to fail.
So it's the morning commute. A semi-truck comes through. And we're not talking about a little fender bender or running a yellow light.
No, this was bigger.
This truck managed to physically strike the stoplight.
That is a significant infrastructure failure.
Right.
It really highlights this specific tension you see in older towns.
And how so?
Well, you have these intersections that were designed in, the 1920s, maybe updated in the 70s.
Right.
And they're trying to accommodate modern logistics. 53-foot trailers, massive turning radiuses, trying to navigate corners that were built for a Model T.
And when those two things collide, the town just stops. The report says the eastbound lane was totally blocked.
And the Department of Public Works had to scramble. Immediately.
Think about the ripple effect.
Oh, it's huge. In a big city, you divert traffic a block over, people lose 10 minutes. In a small town, you take out 5th and Superior. You've just severed the arteries.
And you've got DPW guys who probably had, snow removal or other maintenance schedule.
And now they're standing in freezing traffic trying to rewire a signal. It's a massive resource drain, all because of probably inches of miscalculation.
It really sets the tone for the whole week. Because if the professional truck drivers are struggling, the passenger cars, well,
they didn't stand a chance.
The logs for this week are what I'm calling the ditch parade.
It was just relentless. You look at the timestamps in January 7th, 9th, 11th. It didn't matter what you were driving. The physics of January were undefeated.
So Wednesday the 7th, 4 in the morning, a vehicle goes into the ditch right at 112 East 5th Ave.
Which is a Spirus Langlade hospital.
Yes.
That's just a cruel irony, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're presumably going to the hospital because you're sick or injured or you're working a shift to help sick people.
And you don't even make it to the parking lot.
You end up in the landscaping.
Then, same day, a bus slides off a driveway on Pond Road.
A bus. A bus is heavy. For a bus to lose traction, you're talking about a complete failure of friction on that road.
That's ice on top of packed snow.
Yeah, that isn't just bad driving. That's the road simply refusing to be a road anymore.
And then Sunday, a red Silverado on Hillside Road. It just creates this picture of law enforcement not as crime fighters, but as, logistics managers.
That is such a key takeaway here. If you look at the breakdown of hours spent, the sheriff's deputies this week, they weren't chasing bank robbers.
Not at all.
They were waiting for tow trucks. They're essentially high-stakes roadside assistants, managing the scene, making sure nobody else crashes into the crash. It's dangerous, tedious work.
Speaking of crashing into things, we have to talk about the fog mystery from Thursday night.
This one. This one felt like the opening scene of a Nordic noir thriller.
US 45 and County Road N conditions are described as dark and foggy. Deputies find a vehicle just sitting in the turnaround, no lights, no hazards, just there.
That is one of the most dangerous things you can possibly do. In rural fog, you drive by memory as much as by sight.
You expect that turnaround to be empty.
Right. And there's a 2-ton object sitting there in the dark. That is a catastrophe waiting to happen.
They tried to call the owner, no answer, so they towed it.
They had to. But I just want to dig into the driver's decision-making process for a second.
Go for it.
Did the car die? Did they run out of gas? And if so, why leave it right in the lane of travel?
Maybe the fog was just that bad. Maybe they panicked.
Panic is a powerful drug. It just overrides all logic. I can't see. I'm disoriented, so I am just going to stop right here and walk away.
It's a flight response.
It is. But in a car, freezing is the absolute worst option.
Before we leave the roads, I have one that it actually made me laugh out loud. Sunday evening, First Ave and Lincoln Street.
The new car incident. I saw that one.
An officer pulls a driver over for no registration. And the driver's defense: I just bought it today.
It's the grace period myth.
Is that a myth? Because I feel like I've definitely used that logic in my own head before.
Legally, it is an absolute myth. You need a temp tag. You can't just drive a ghost car because the ink is still wet on the check. But psychologically, I get it. You're excited. You've got the new wheels. You're not thinking about the DMV.
You're thinking about how good the heater works and how smooth the suspension is.
Exactly.
It's a pretty harsh reality check, though. Blue lights in the rearview mirror on day one.
It definitely takes the shine off the purchase. But it's a good reminder. The law applies even when you're celebrating.
Okay, let's move off the streets and into the neighborhoods. Because if the roads were chaotic, the backyards were, well, they were active.
This is where we see the community part of community policing, right? This isn't anonymous highway patrol. This is dealing with people who all know each other.
We have to start with the pig incident. Wednesday, January 7th, Klein Road. A call comes in for a parking complaint.
Which usually means someone is blocking a driveway or parked too close to a hydrant. You know, a minor annoyance.
Not in Lake County. The deputy arrives, and the person blocking the road explains that they are in the middle of loading pigs to take to the butcher.
This might be my favorite entry of the whole week. Yeah. It just highlights the clash between rules and rural reality.
The resolution is just fantastic.
Right.
The resident tells the deputy, I will move the vehicles by evening.
Which is basically, when the pigs are loaded, the road will open.
And the deputy accepts that.
And that's the nuance of rural policing. In a city, you'd get a ticket and a tow, no questions asked.
For sure.
Here, the officer recognizes that loading livestock is a chaotic, time-sensitive operation. You can't just pause a hog because a Honda Civic needs to get by.
The officer made a judgment call.
Yeah, that the agricultural necessity outweighed the traffic violation.
The pigs come first.
It's the unwritten motto of the county. It's just pragmatic. I can write you a ticket, but that's not going to make the pigs move any faster.
But then you have people who are maybe a little too enterprising. Thursday afternoon, Mayfair Street, the Due Projects guy.
Ah, yes. A classic example of how poor communication can cause a panic.
A resident calls about a man in a dark coat and a beanie going door to door. He's not selling cookies.
No.
He's asking if people need him to do projects.
And the phrasing is just key here. If he'd said, I'm shoveling driveways or I paint fences, it's a service.
Right.
But do projects sounds so vague. It sounds almost menacing. It triggers the casing the joint alarm in people's heads.
Police track him down. Turns out he's just a guy looking for work, and they explain he needs a peddler's permit.
It's just a barrier to entry for the gig economy, isn't it? He's trying to hustle, make a buck in January, but he tripped over the bureaucracy.
And the stranger danger instinct of the neighborhood.
Yeah, presentation is everything. Get a flyer, get a business card. Don't just be the guy in the shadows offering to do projects.
Now this next story. This one actually stopped me in my tracks. It wasn't funny. It was just, It was heavy. Wednesday. A grandmother walks into the safety building.
The request for help.
She's there because her 8-year-old grandson, who lives out on County Road C, is acting up at school and at home, and she's at her wit's end.
She doesn't know who else to ask.
Exactly.
This is the kind of data point that people miss when they talk about police budgets or police reform. In so many rural communities, the police station is the only 247 social service agency.
There's no youth crisis center open at that hour, no family mediator on speed dial.
Right. She went to the police not because a crime was committed, but because she needed authority. She needed structure.
She needed support.
It's a heartbreaking moment of vulnerability. It shows that for a lot of people, the badge represents the court of last resort for parenting, not just for lawbreaking.
It really grounds the whole log. It's not just pigs and sliding buses. It's families struggling to just keep it together.
Absolutely. It's the human element, stripped of all the noise.
But then we fell right back to the absurdity of modern life.
The Walmart parking lot.
The Thunderdome of commerce.
That's a good way to put it.
Wednesday midday. State Road 64. A lockout. Someone locked their keys in the car.
A common tragedy. We've all been there.
But they were parked in a handicapped spot.
Ooh, that changes the calculus entirely.
It really does. Now you aren't just the person who made a mistake. You're the person blocking a critical resource.
The shame factor must have been off the charts while waiting for the officer to come jimmy that lock.
Yeah, you're immobilized in a spot designed for accessibility. Every single person walking by is judging you.
It's a very specific type of small-town pillory.
All right, let's move to segment 3. The things people do to each other. Scams, pranks, and petty crimes.
The human friction index.
I like that. Sunday afternoon, Niva Road, McDonald's.
A sacred institution.
The staff calls the police because they are getting persistent prank calls.
You have to wonder about the psychology of the prank caller. It's 2026. Who is still prank calling a fast food joint?
And on a Sunday afternoon.
It's a power trip. A very small, very petty, sad little power trip. You're interrupting the workflow of people trying to do a really hard, fast-paced job.
It's not a harmless joke.
No, it's harassment. It's stealing time.
Disruptive, for sure, but not as dangerous as the call a resident on State Road 47 got on Friday.
The captain from Waukesha.
The caller claims to be a police captain from Waukesha, which is, what, 3 hours away?
At least. It's a good drive.
And he is demanding a signature on a jury duty form.
This is a sophisticated evolution of the old warrant scam. They used to say, you have a warrant, pay us. People got wise to that.
So they changed it up.
They complicated it. It's a jury duty form. I need a signature. And they're trying to get you to engage, to panic about your civic duty.
And why do they always pick captain?
It's authority. And Waukesha is far enough away to be hard to verify instantly, but close enough to sound plausible. It's a calculated script designed to bypass your critical thinking.
Well, the resident didn't bite. They called the real police.
Which is the only move. A word to the wise. If a captain calls you for a signature, hang up. Captains have sergeants and admin staff to do paperwork. They are not cold calling you on a Friday afternoon.
Okay, then we have a mystery at the gas station on Superior Street Thursday morning, the card declined incident.
This one is like an ethical Rorschach test.
A guy tries to pay. His card fails. He tells the clerk, I'll be right back with cash. And he leaves with the merchandise.
And the report notes he agreed to return. It does not note that he actually returned.
So was it theft? Or was it an honest mistake and he just got embarrassed and never came back?
Or, and this is my theory, did he fully intend to steal it and just use the I'll be right back as social engineering to bypass the clerk's suspicion?
I'm not running away, I'm just going to the ATM.
Exactly. It buys him a 3-minute head start.
Devious. And finally for this segment, the Phantom Knocker. Friday evening on 6th Ave.
This just sounds incredibly annoying.
A man calls the police because people keep knocking on his door asking for someone who doesn't live there.
Okay, so this suggests a few possibilities. 1, it's a prank. 2, the person who lived there before was very, very popular.
Or 3.
Or 3, the previous tenant was running some kind of unlicensed business from the apartment.
When you say unlicensed business,
I mean, it could be anything. Selling drugs, selling parts, who knows. But if you have constant foot traffic to a specific door on a Friday night, that traffic is usually looking for a transaction.
So the new tenant is just dealing with the legacy of the old one's enterprise.
It's the ghost of commerce past.
Yeah.
And it's the worst kind of ghost because they knock really loud.
Which brings us to our last segment, segment 4. We have arrived at the truly bizarre, the stuff you just can't make up.
The X-Files portion of the blotter.
Monday, January 12th, Kennedy Road. A resident calls the sheriff's office to report suspicious activity.
Okay, go on.
The report says that someone froze a rabbit's head and attached it to their front door.
I'm going to need a second on that one.
Check your tie.
I am trying to visualize the physics of this. A frozen rabbit head attached to a door. How? Was it nailed? Was it iced on?
The report doesn't get into the adhesive properties, unfortunately, but just think about the intent. This isn't a prank call to McDonald's. This is grim.
It's visceral. It's primal. In folklore, a rabbit's foot is lucky. A rabbit's head. That feels like a hex. That feels like a message.
It's so specific. You have to acquire the rabbit. You have to sever the head. You have to freeze it solid.
That takes time. That takes premeditation. You don't just find a frozen rabbit head in your pocket.
Right.
And that's what makes it so scary. It's not a crime of passion. It's a crime of arts and crafts. It's deeply disturbing behavior.
If you're the deputy responding to that, you're not just looking for a vandal.
No, you're wondering about the mental stability of whoever's out there in the woods.
The frozen rabbit of Kennedy Road.
Huh?
It sounds like a horror movie set in the Midwest.
It really, really does. It's the kind of thing that makes you lock your deadbolt twice.
And from frozen animals to frozen spirits, the snowmobile ghosts.
Also on Monday,
Reports of snowmobiles on the trails at County Road K and County Road Z.
deputies go out, and there's nothing. Silence. This is the eternal game of the Northwoods. The locals know every single cut-through, every deer trail, every gap in the fence. A deputy in a squad car is always going to be one step behind a local who's been riding those woods since they were 6 years old.
So they aren't actually ghosts.
They're ghosts in the sense that they vanish. But they are very real, very fast locals who probably shouldn't be on that specific trail at that specific time.
We do have to touch on one more dispute, and this one is definitely darker. Friday, in Berlin. A neighbor dispute involving allegations of shooting dogs and hoarding cats.
Yeah, we joked about the pigs and we were baffled by the rabbit. But this is where the isolation of rural life can turn really dangerous.
Shooting dogs. That's an escalation that usually leads to violence between people.
It is. When you live in the country, your neighbor is your safety net. They're the one who pulls you out of the ditch. When that relationship breaks down to the level of harming animals, you are living in a hostile environment. You're trapped next to your enemy.
It's a sobering reminder that Midwest nice does have a breaking point.
It does. And when it breaks hard.
And finally, we do need to ground this week in the reality of the danger. Very early Tuesday morning, State Road 64 and Hill Road.
The crash.
Entrapment. 2 people trapped in a truck.
After all the stories of loose pigs and phantom snowmobiles, this brings us back to the primary truth of January. The environment is trying to kill you. The cold, the ice, the physics, they're totally indifferent to your plans.
It really puts the ditch parade in perspective. Every one of those little slide-offs could have been this crash.
Exactly. It's a game of inches. You hit a patch of ice 2 feet to the left, you go in the ditch. 2 feet to the right, you go into oncoming traffic.
So we've come through the logs. We've seen the comedy and the tragedy. What's the takeaway? What did we learn from Langlade County this week?
I think the lesson is about interdependence.
How do you mean?
Well, look at all the stories. The semi blocking the town, the grandma needing the police, the neighbor disputes. In a small community, you cannot exist in a vacuum. Your actions, whether you're driving too fast or letting your pigs loose or pretending to be a captain from Waukesha, they impact everyone around you immediately.
You're part of the ecosystem, whether you like it or not.
You are. And in January, that ecosystem is fragile. And it relies on patience.
My final thought for you, the listener, is a little different. I'm still stuck on Kennedy Road.
The rabbit.
The rabbit. It's a reminder that we never really know what's happening behind closed doors, or I guess on front doors, of the houses we drive past every day. You think you know your community. You think it's just snow and stoplights. But sometimes it's frozen taxidermy as a threat. Look at your neighbors. You never really know.
Keep your eyes open. And maybe check your porch light.
And keep your headlights on. Seriously, looking at the logs, about 20 of you got warnings for that this week alone.
Visibility is survival.
Stay warm, drive safe, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
See you out there.